All right, it's April 4th. Figured I'd do a garden update. A lot of things planted, a lot of things growing. Our lime tree, Persian lime, is doing really well. This is starting to get softer. But there are probably 15 or so limes on it about that size. You can see throughout here. Some of them smaller. 15 or 20 probably. And they're just coming on. It never stops producing this winter. We took it inside, took all of our citrus inside whenever the weather got really cold. This Meyer lemon is just struggling, but it is setting some fruit that isn't going to fall. It's actually going to produce. It did produce a little bit last year, and we're hoping for some more production this year. This grapefruit gave us 3 big, nice grapefruits last year, and we're hoping for more this year. There's a lot more flowers this year than there was last year, so we'll see how much of these tiny little fruits actually stay with us. Our Hoff's avocado over here is looking pretty rough. We've never grown an avocado before, so not really sure what we're supposed to be doing, but there were avocados on the ends and partway down each one of these little twigs here, and you can see how that just, you touch it and it falls off. That one, and there seems to be 1 or 2 per cluster that is held on, and we have new growth just about everywhere. You can see some good new growth there, and there's a little avocado, and here and there. Lots of pepper plants, tomato plants that are for sale. Lots and lots of them. 12 different varieties that we grew. This is our little okra bed, just 12 cinder blocks with okra. These are being grown from seed from the okra we grew last year. These, just in these 2 cells here, are burgundy okra that I stuck in the ground before we planted the seeds when it was still kind of cold. I have some burgundy okra in another place I'll show you here in a minute. More tomatoes, lots and lots of tomatoes. We just transplanted all these from 3.5-inch cups up to 6-inch to 1-gallon pots or whatever they are. This is our sister's garden, the 3 sisters garden. And you can see the corn's coming up. We did finally get beans in the ground. We used Kentucky Wonder, I think is what they are, pole beans. And you can see that they're coming up, and they're going to be climbing up this corn at some point when they get there, when they get the chance to, hopefully. These are cantaloupe. Probably going to thin that last one out over there. It's smaller, it's right up against the edge, so I'll probably wind up taking that. I put a couple of squash seeds, this is yellow crookneck, in that hole, and right there I put 2 zucchini seeds in this area and in this area, and I'm not sure, that's a weed. I don't think it's zucchini, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. All of these weeds here are in one root system, so to get them out completely, I'd have to dig it up and kill that corn plant and that pole bean. So I'm just going to try to manage them throughout the growing season and see if we can allow them to coexist a little bit. All right, moving right along. Don't want to make this video too long, and don't want to fall down either. This is potatoes. There were 5 seed potatoes put in here, and we added dirt as they grew. We still need to add some more, but they are doing well. There's a row of 7 San Marzano tomato plants. All of them, almost every tomato plant we have in the ground either has flowers or fruit on it already. I'll show you. We have another San Marzano in another bed that does have fruit. I'll show you a little up close of that one. Our lettuce, we need to eat this lettuce. It's going to be bolting for too long as it gets warmer, but we were quite successful at growing lettuce this year. I harvested about 1% of it yesterday, and we shared that for dinner with some homemade cheese sticks, not cheese sticks, chicken fingers. Our big Thai and jalapeno gigante peppers are slow to grow. This is a super steak tomato. There's one at either end of this bed. You can see the other one down there. And they are flowering. This is our burgundy okra. This is our row of burgundy okra. Not as many plants there as I normally would plant, but that's probably as much as we should in that amount of space. And then over here, we're going to have a row of cucumbers. This is a beet alpha that's a seedless. See two little guys there. 3 over here. There's a seed in the ground over here that we'll see if that actually comes up. And then I have another a row of 8 seeds in the ground here of a different purpless cucumber. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to put up a trellis netting up over this conduit, drape it over the conduit, and then back down and attach it with tent stakes into the dirt. Give them something to climb. This is a mixture. It's called the salsa blend of hot peppers. We planted so many of them in here because it's a mixture of 5 different types of peppers in one package, so we don't know what each one is. So I tried to get a blend of different, like short plants, tall plants, bushy plants out of the flats that we grew them in so that we could get a variety. Hopefully we'll get at least one of each of those hot peppers. And this one are both ready to be topped, but I'm thinking about not doing so. I'm going to give it a little more time. Actually, this one could be topped as well. Once they have about 6 leaves that you can leave on, then you can cut the rest of it out, and it causes them to bush out and give you more production. But in this whiskey barrel, I may not top them because if I wind up deciding to keep them all, then I don't want them to be real bushy. I'd rather them get tall. So we'll see how that goes. The herb garden, along with a mystery fruiting cabbage type thing that we got from Warrenton, and some baby bok choy. Our blue star basil is starting to bolt. Our sweet basil is nowhere near bolting, but all the rest of the stuff is doing all right. This is our indeterminate tomato bed with some extra things in it, but we plant marigolds and basil, sweet basil, in different places to help deter pests. But you can see that these guys are growing along nice. This particular one right here, I think, is our tallest tomato plant so far, and it's Sweetie. It's a little cherry tomato, and you can see it has fruit, tiny little tomatoes. This is the San Marzano tomato I was talking about. It has some fruit hiding back under here. So we're gonna start getting San Marzanos here really soon. This one is early girl, and she is not as early as our San Marzanos, but she did not do bad. Let's go around the other side here. These are some that we bought from the Master Gardeners Association, Friendswood, Genoa Friendship Gardens with this. These 2 are yellow pear, and this yellow pear is flowering right in here. Let's see, these 2 are black creme. They are both flowering, I think. This one has some kind of big flower there. This one, yeah, there's some flowers over there. So, this is Japanese black trofele, if that's how you say it. And then that one was down to 1 tiny leaf, and it's coming back. So we're gonna keep it along and let it live. 6 pepperoncini plants. I did top some of them, and you can see that they're starting to grow limbs from the bottom. So it should bush out and give us more production. This one I have not topped it. It's a replacement for one that was damaged by something. This one got topped and is bushing out. Same here. And this one had some leaves missing, but I topped it anyway, and it is coming back with some branches. So we'll see how that one does as well. These are pole beans, FM1K. 2 rows of those, 1 on each side. Some of these are replacements, and I used Kentucky Wonder because I used all of my FM1Ks. That's a Kentucky Wonder. This last row, this 3rd row I should say, are bush beans. They're green beans just like this pole beans, but they are flowering big time. Lots and lots of flowers. everywhere on every one of these bushes. So here in the coming weeks, we're going to be getting a lot of green beans out of these, probably 48 plants or so. This is 2 rows planted. They were sowed very densely, and I have not gone in and thinned them out yet, but I think it's about time. These are cow peas, California number 5. The next time we plant any kind of a black-eyed pea, they will be purple whole peas. That's what we're going to switch over to. Preference. This is our determinate tomato bed. 8 determinate tomato plants, and then some sweet peppers. Hot peppers on one side of the yard, sweet peppers on the other, in case we decide to save seeds. These 2 plants are baby boomer. They're like a 1-ounce cherry tomato. So for a cherry tomato, they're pretty large. And you can see we've got tomatoes down here. If you can see, yeah, there we go. You can see the tomatoes coming on. These were a great producer for us last year. Try to keep up with keeping the suckers above the ring. These 2 are bush steak. They make a 1/2 to 3/4 pound tomato, like a small beefsteak, but these are a determinate, so they're going to produce a whole bunch over about a 1-month period, and then they're going to die. We're going to start some more from seed indoors for a fall planting, late summer planting. These 2 are Roma, and we're getting good flowers, almost ready for fruit there. This is Best Boys, our first year to grow that one, and yeah, there's some flowers in there. So we got flowers here too. And this is one that my dad got from Hoss Tools called Red Snapper. It's a large to extra large, they say, determinate tomato, but they say it's really, really big, produces a lot. So we decided to test that one out this year. He has 2 at his house as well. Some bell peppers, that some of them have been topped, some of them I'm not going to top. They are planted too densely, but we did that because we had a bunch of them and wanted to ensure that we had some good healthy plants. These are not that hard to move if I had to. If like 3 in a cluster did the best out of all of them, then I would transplant the one in the middle over to another area where I would thin out some that didn't do so well. These are Carnival blend. There are just 5 different colors of bell pepper, so we planted 8 plants, and we're going to see what happens. You can see here something had been eating these. We think it was snails, so we treated for snails, and we also sprayed with neem oil and peppermint oil, trying to keep excuse me, trying to keep the pests away without a bunch of poisons and such, because there are good beneficial insects, so we need those pollinators and others. These are our icicle radish. You can see there. We harvested the one that was in the middle there and added it to a salad. When you slice it, they look like a snowflake. I thought that was kind of cool. The leeks are growing. I don't have a lot of hope for those just because they need to be in very deep soil, and they don't have that here. Probably 9 or 10 inches. The beets are finally growing some more. And then we thinned out the turnips pretty deeply. So you can see that we're tiny little turnip, not even the size of a fingertip, but they're slow growers. So, and these are cherry bell radish right here. You can see little radish in the ground. Let's see, onions. These are 3 different yellow, red, white onions that I bought from onion sets. And then we also added some green onion, bunching onions in the middle of some of these areas, which you can see, just to use for cooking. Well, all of it's used for cooking, but some of these plants at the end, there's 6 there, and then the first 2 here were some that we grew from seed last year. And so we had the extra space when I did this onion bed and just stuck them in there. This is a Meyer lemon that survived a freeze and a pretty harsh cutting, and it had a lemon on it until very recently. Oh, here we go. There's a little lemon right there. Fig tree that my dad gave Libby, and it is just doing great this year. We repotted it. We repotted all of our citrus this year into 25-gallon pots. This one's a 15-gallon, I think. I think that the lime tree was in that one. Blackberry, thornless Thornless blackberry here as well. It's flowering nicely. Just a tiny little thing so far, but I need some tips on getting these blackberries to grow. That is a Persian lime, believe it or not. We have 3 cayenne, long thin cayenne pepper plants that we bought in Warrenton. And 2 of them we've topped because they were over a foot tall. We topped them and they are really bushing out. That one is anyway. This one's bushing out a little bit. It had no lower leaves on it before. And this one we decided as an experiment just to leave it. Let it do its thing. Don't top it. And that's what it looked like when we bought it, except it was a little smaller. But it has lots of flowers coming on, so it's acting like it's going to make us a bunch of cayenne peppers. So we'll see. And our volunteer sweet basil bed, we didn't plant these. There were a couple of plants there at the end of the season last year, and they went to seed, and we just left them alone. Found out that these 4 plants are bok choy. We must have planted them there last year because they're in a row. I don't know how that would be possible for them to, the seeds just wind up here in a row on accident, but they're bolting. And we're just going to let them do that, let them go to seed, collect the seeds, and maybe use them for a fall planting, because that's really when your cabbages are going to grow, is down here in zone 9A, is in the cold weather. And I think they're a little bit frost tolerant. So anyway, that's what we've got. It's just going to get busier from here. Talk to y'all later.